salsa negra, or black salsa. This is uses dried chipotle chilies, also known as moritas. So I've got here 12 moritas and 4 pasilla peppers, and I've already taken the seeds out of them and taken the stems off. And I have about 1/4 of an onion here and 5 garlic cloves all chopped up. And we're gonna start this little nonsense with a 1/4 cup of oil in a saucepan. So we'll cook the onions and the garlic for a little while first, and then we're going to add the peppers to this before we add any liquid. And we're going to let the peppers kind of they cook and they kind of caramelize a little bit, and they get very aromatic. And then we're going to add the water and get that to cook for a little while. Put it all in the blender, and then we'll bring it back over here and cook it with more oil until it turns black. So we'll let the onions get cooked a little and come back. Okay, so the garlic and onions have cooked up, so I ripped up these chilies into smaller pieces. And moritas come with, they generally come without stems, and we want the seeds from those, so we'll just leave them whole and put them in. And we're going to give this a little while, stirring every once in a while. We don't want to burn these, but we do want them to get aromatic and kind of caramelize a little bit in here before we add the water. So we'll let this cook for a little bit and come back and add some water. So this is cooking right along here. You can really smell them. Check this out, those moritas, several of them just puffed right up. All right, so I'm going to add water to this. It's fragrant enough to choke Kelly. So.
Yeah, you know what's happening. I thought you could choke a chicken.
So now we're going to bring this to a boil and let it boil for a few minutes. Cool it down and put the whole shebang in the blender. Okay, so our stuff is boiled here for 10 minutes. I'm going to turn the burner off, and I'm going to let this cool for 20 minutes before I try doing anything in the blender. Blending hot stuff can be a little dangerous, and there's no need, so we'll let it cool and come back and put it in the blender. All right, so now that our chilies have cooled down, looks like they've also absorbed quite a lot of the water that was in there. I may have to add more to get this to blend, and it might be a combination of oil and water. We'll just have to see how it goes. And rinsing that pan. Let's see what happens.
This is exciting.
Pretty exciting?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to add just a little bit of water to this. How much a little better? So you want to see it fighting?
No. Not really.
Don't try that at home, kids.
No.
Alright, so I'm going to add just a little bit of oil, because I would like to see this blend up a little better. You don't want chunks in this salsa.
You can probably use any kind of oil, huh?
Yes, avocado oil is the recommended oil for this job. But yeah, any kind of oil. I don't think you'd want as much flavor as peanut or sesame oil. He's thick. When it gets too thick, it gets an air bubble down in by the blades, and then nothing will move. And the only cure really is more liquid.
I've noticed they use a lot of oil in a lot of this, like mole and stuff.
Yep.
Like when we watch other videos about it.
That's for sure.
Makes it so smooth, I think.
And the process of cooking this is mostly adding oil and cooking it down. Adding more oil and cooking it down.
Hour.
So if we can get it going like that for about a minute or so, then you get this nice smooth stuff, and that's the stuff we want. So I'm going to run a slightly smaller pan now and put in 1/4 cup of oil and get the oil warm, and then we're going to dump the contents of our blender in here and cook it for 10 minutes or so. Add a little bit of water, cook it again, add a little bit of oil, cook it again, and we're looking for a nice black salsa. Okay, here we go, into the warm oil with our sauce. And I'm not going to be too concerned about getting it all out of here, because what we're going to do is add some water to the blender, about 1/2 cup, and use that to get the rest of it out. So we're going to cook this for 10 minutes. And let's go ahead and clean up the blender right now. Got 1/2 cup of water. There we go. So now after this is cooked a little bit, we're going to throw the contents of the blender in with this. And I'm going to cook this for about 10 minutes first. And this process is not to cook it super fast or anything. We want to slowly cook this until it darkens. And this will make a thick paste that can be thinned down for various uses or used as is. Okay, there we go. We'll give that about 10 minutes. And I'll be stirring it a lot, and we'll come back after 10 minutes. It's been about 10 minutes. What's in there is already darkened somewhat. We're going to go in with everything that's left in the blender. We added some water to this, and we're going to be spending some time cooking that water out of it. But also we are going to add 1/4 cup of white vinegar. I'm splooting over.
Of course you are.
So we're going to put this on for another 10 minutes or so. It needs to come back up to cooking again, but this is pretty incredible tasting. It you know, it's hot from the spicy from the Moritas, and really concentrated dried chili flavor, almost like baking chocolate. So yes, it's going to be really good when it's done, but it's got quite a ways to go. So we'll come back in 10 minutes and see what we got. All right, so this will splash all over the place, so I'm going to take it off the burner for a second here so we can look at it and talk about it. It's darkening. It's thickened somewhat. What we're trying to do here is we're still trying to fry it some more and get it darker and thicker. So I'm adding another cup of oil, a quarter cup of oil, and we're going to put this back on the burner. Now I've been stirring this pretty much every minute, and we're just going to keep letting it do its thing. I want it to reduce, so I don't want to cover it tightly, but it's really spitting a lot, so I'm covering it loosely. I can't just leave it open or it'll be all over the ceiling.
Yeah, you can't hit the ceiling.
Just, you know, just like spaghetti sauce does.
Yeah, something about the dark sauces do that.
And this is really thick, so, and we're trying to get it thicker. So the only thing I'm going to do after this next 10 minutes, do differently, is I'll probably add a little bit of salt. But either in the next 10 minutes or maybe it'll be 20 minutes, it's going to be getting as dark as I need it to be. But we're just going to keep doing this, keep cooking it. All right, so our salsa negra is really nice and dark. It's been cooking now for about another 40 minutes. I did not add any more oil because I think it has plenty. It just looks really good. I'm going to turn it off and we're going to let it cool. Now what we have here is, I would call it a salsa negra paste. It's not super usable in this form because it's so strong flavored. You know, we cooked it all down so much that it's very concentrated flavor. So this can be thinned with water, with lime juice, with chicken broth, vegetable broth, beef broth. If you want to use it for a marinade, you know, something like lime juice would be perfect. Even water. If you want to use it for a salsa, I would say some lime juice, maybe a little bit of water. On our menu next time we have dinner at home is tacos, and I'm thinking a little bit of this on a taco, which is just going to be really good. It's got a lot of heat, a lot of depth of flavor. I think if you're making a sauce out of this, something like chicken broth, maybe even some baking chocolate or Mexican chocolate. And you can also add spices like cumin, oregano, cloves, cinnamon to add to this. I think there's just an awful lot of ways to use this, and by itself it's just got this giant chili flavor, and it's got the heat from the Moritas, and it's fantastic. So we'll see what we do with it. And thanks for watching Two Cooks in the Kitchen, and we'll see you next time.